The wait is finally over. Wayhaven Chronicles Book 3 has released, and I don't think it disappointed. Of course, there are some things I like, some things I don't like, but overall, pretty good. A quick, no spoilers, 2 cents review. It's a great continuation of the series, and if you like the first two, you'll really love this game. So I would just say pick it up if you're on the fence. For some context, Wayhaven Chronicles is a text based game that's made by Hosted Games that takes place in the small town of Wayhaven, where you play as a detective of a town when supernaturals start to come after you as you realize that you have something special about your blood. Of course, it is romance focused, as the agency, a shadowy government organization that helps supernaturals find their way in our world, sends a team of super attractive vampires to help you out and watch over you. You can probably guess what happens after that if you haven't played the game. This is the third book in the series, so obviously I recommend you do buy the first 2 books as they're heavily character focused, so I'm not sure why you would even want to start on book 3. So now into the review. I found this game to be very good. I wanted to talk about what I liked before getting on to what I found to be lacking in this game, as I do think this book is lacking a lot more than the other 2. Still good, but there's just some more things I don't like about it. I think the character interactions are as good as they've ever been. I can't really get over how good these characters are and continue to be, even Bobby and Douglas, the side characters, who sometimes, they annoy me or make me upset in the story, but they are kept engaging. The romantic interests, aka the vampires, are well developed and continue to kind of develop their personality farther, making them stand out more, and they even get more depth in the book as you get to learn more about their past. One of the aspects that I think this game did really well compared to the last 2 is the presence of significant side stories now and the consequences of the choices that you made in the previous 2. Like, did you tell Tina or Berta about the supernatural world in the second book? Did you kiss Bobby? Did you extend a helping hand to Douglas? These choices now have repercussions, and the resulting side stories offer new insights into the friends that I've grown attached to in this story. Like, I love if you've been real friendly and saved Douglas, he continues his hero worship of you, and depending on your choices, spoilers here, he can even turn into a supernatural. And I like how you get to talk to him more as you do your missions and you run into him in other places. Or even how Tina invites you and your love interest to dinner, and then there's different talks and conversations depending on what she knows and how she, what she thinks of the love interest depending on what vampire you're romancing. I don't know, they just add such a fun element to the story because it makes the game seem so interconnected, with your friends from the outside world coming in and out seamlessly with your new agency focused life. It makes the game feel a lot more realistic. I mean, if you worked with these people every day for years until the agency came up, you'd probably have more to say to them and more to interact with them. It really makes like the detective feel like he has a double life, and I like that, how they kind of, I don't know, how he doesn't have 2 personalities, but he has like 2 faces that he has to show the world. In terms of general story flow, I found it to be engaging overall. However, there were certain parts, especially the final confrontation, that felt a little rushed to me, felt a little subpar. I tend to go a little bit more in depth when I get to the negatives for this game, as it left me with some mixed feelings. But despite the drawback, I thought the plot did keep me hooked until the very end, up until the final confrontation, I should say. And I'm pretty eager for what's going to happen next. I'm really hyped for the next game, and I'm sad that we're going to have to wait a couple more years for the next game. But that's how it goes. As for the writing, I think it remains consistent with the previous books in the series, as I mentioned. If you enjoyed the writing style in the earlier installments, you're unlikely to encounter any issues here. While I did notice some repetitive structures and words, I didn't think it was super distracting, and I consider that something, I don't know, maybe I just picked up on it, maybe I'm tweaking, like, I don't know. I just thought it was worth mentioning that there are also fewer instances of repetition in this book compared to the previous ones, which I viewed as a noticeable improvement since it makes each path feel a lot more unique. Now, I do understand why repetition is used. It's a massive book, 1.2 million words, of course, some paths are going to repeat and all that, but I did like how she really tried this book to make each one not have repeats. So I don't know, in conclusion, I'm thoroughly impressed with the characters, side stories, and general story flow. I think the writing style, while consistent, has shown improvement, and I'm really ready for the next game. I'm now going to talk about some of the stuff I didn't like about the game. Okay, so the Ava or Adam route, depending on, your preferences in this game, I don't know. I don't want to say it was bad, but it was just so much more of the same. You guys both like each other, but he or she's not ready to try. She doesn't want to get close, so then you get close and she gets farther away. And you're both kind of just pining after each other, and it's real angsty. And I really thought that your first kiss in the game would come sooner. There was so many points in the story where it seemed like it was about to happen. But then, nope, she backs up again. And it takes until basically the very end of the game for the kiss to happen. And then the game just ends. And, I don't mind a slow burn, but this is a bit ridiculous. I've waited since 2018. And all that the relationship has progressed in the story is one kiss. That's like what? 2018? That's like a 5-year difference, real life, and then a 1-year difference in the story. And all you guys have done is kiss each other once. I don't know. I really thought that more was going to happen in the Ava or Adam route in this game. But I don't know. I enjoyed all the other romance routes more than that one. I thought Morgan's was the best in my opinion, but that's just kind of personal choice. I like how you move on from just being fuck buddies to more of a real relationship where she starts to realize that she loves you. I think my main criticism of this game is the villain. I already forgot her name. I want to say it's Césaire. I'm not checking. You can't make me. She's the worst villain in these games ever, and her pet, a new type of monster that we learn about, the Anunnaki, his name's Sin. He's also a bit of an asswipe. She's presented as able to convince anyone to join her side and being super manipulative with money and charisma and all that. But when you finally face her, you basically just wipe the floor with her and her auction, her whole setup, and I just think it's a little stupid. The game builds her up, she runs a large group of trappers, she's kidnapping a bunch of people at once, she runs a very successful auction house selling a lot of supernaturals. But you're able to stop her just by showing up and pretending to be on her side while the vampires stay on the outside so they won't be detected. Because, you're fully human, so you're able to go in there. She really doesn't have more defenses. She doesn't have like a perimeter set up with like anti-supernatural stuff. I don't know. And then I know in the game, other people tell Césaire it's not smart to invite us, but she does anyway and trusts us way too much. Or even the alternative path where you get kidnapped by her and the vampires have to break you out. It just happens way too easy. Your love interest just walks in and they're like, you look familiar. And they're like, yeah, you recognize me. And they just kind of break you out. I don't know. It just really didn't feel like there was any danger at all. I liked the other two villains a lot more. I don't know. And then her pet, Sin, the Anunnaki. And yeah, that is the Anunnaki from Mesopotamian myth. The people who love gold. If you've listened to Joe Rogan, you probably know a bit about him. The Anunnaki in this game, Césaire's pet, Sin, he's supposed to be kind of dark and brooding, and he's being forced to do all this evil stuff. But you barely even talk to him, and when he does, he doesn't have too much of a personality. You do see certain scenes from his perspective, but even then, you're able to convince him kind of easily to switch sides or that Césaire's lying to him. And then at the end, if you have enough points with him, you can convince him to join the agency or you can just let him go. And I just think, I don't know, it's disappointing. They kind of build him up. He's one of the strongest supernaturals ever. There's not a lot of them. And then, I don't know, you're just able to kind of convince him pretty easily. I kind of figured that if he's been doing this for so long, he would have put some more thought into the fact that maybe she's lying to me and we don't have a real soul bond. But, who knows? I'm not an Anunnaki, so maybe that's just not part of his thought process. I thought the last two villains were a lot better. I know the author put more focus on character interactions and not having interactions with the characters be based around the story, which there was a lot more of that in the first two. But still, I thought Murphy and the Carnival were a lot better, and I don't think Césaire should have been taken out so easily. So overall, conclusions for this game, I think this is just a bit of a bridge. I think 4 is going to be a lot better. I think this is just kind of building and letting the relationships flourish, because now at this point, you're in a committed relationship with all of them. Well, basically. So I think next book is going to be a lot more of a bombshell. It's going to be a lot bigger. So I don't know. Sucks we're gonna have to wait. I thought this game was pretty good. I recommend you buy it. That's all I got. This has been Conduit. I mean, my first review on this channel ever was Wayhaven Chronicles Book 2. Seriously enjoy the series. I don't know, that's it. I'll see you guys around.